Jets, I hear them say it now.
Jets, white, green, just green and white. Tell me, have you ever seen a team take flight? Super Bowl dreams are still in sight. All we gotta do is win tonight. White, green, just green and white. Tell me, have you ever seen a team take flight? Super Bowl dreams are still in sight. All we gotta do is win.
What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back for the 5th episode of the Jet Fuel podcast. We got plenty to talk about here on this lovely Wednesday. But before we get into that, I'm your host, as always, Joe. Hey, turn up the Jets. Before you do anything, please like the video if you actually like it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All the support would be much appreciated. And you could follow me on social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram at Turn Up the Jets. All one word. Episode 5 here on the Jet Fuel podcast. And I kind of wanted to wait. I know a lot have came out, and I'm going to discuss everything between the jerseys, training camp. I'll give you some of my sleepers, the Rodgers contract update, Dalvin Cook. There's some rumors brewing there, whether I think it's true or bullshit. You got to wait. You got to keep watching the video. But let's get into these unis, man. Legacy white throwbacks are released. Monday, they officially were released. And let's just take a look at these bad boys. I mean, whoo-wee. I wish I had a picture of the helmet. Let's see if I hide this. You can see the helmet more. Yeah, look at that logo. You can kind of see it in Quinnen's hands. I'm just going to hide everything. Yeah, look at that. That is a thing of beauty. And I know fans typically on Twitter have been begging. I mean, like begging for these uniforms. And I like the swag. I'm going to buy the uniform with the jerseys of the player no matter what they look like. And I've already spent so much money on the, current uniforms. I'm not vouching for them to make these their everyday jerseys, which I would love because these are sick and they're realistically better. And I just like the plain kind of throwback style to them. The logo should be the permanent logo though. Like that logo is so sick. I think that one and the one with just the jet that says Jets across of it, those are the two best Jets logos I think they've ever had. And I think the one they got in the helmets is just sweet. And they're also going to decorate the stadium too. They're going to put the logo in the middle of the stadium and have the throwback logos in the end zone. So they will be wearing these bad boys week 1 against the Buffalo Bills, week 4 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Jets fans have been dying for these damn uniforms, like absolutely begging. And now they're going to try to beg to make these their permanent jerseys. Whatever. I don't really care about that. They got the throwbacks. I am so excited. And I already ordered some. I ordered an Aaron Rodgers jersey, even though I literally just got one and a Quinnen Williams one because he deserves it. And, I have one of those like knockoff Quinnen Williams jerseys that I got in like 2018, right when he got drafted, 2019, sorry, right when he got drafted. And that thing is just beaten up. So, I might as well get him too because he's locked in for 4 years. And apparently Aaron Rodgers, according to him and Robert Saleh, he's not here for one and done. I will get into that more when we talk about the training camp. But yeah, I love the jerseys. 10 out of 10, man. They're sweet. And I like how they went the white route. They couldn't change the color of the helmet because they're only able to have a maximum 2 colored helmets, which is the dumbest rule ever because they actually had the rule that you couldn't even have a second colored helmet. They finally implemented that last year, in which why the Jets were able to have that stealth black helmet. I would much rather do what they did, just change the logo on the helmet and the decal rather, and keep the blacks because the black jersey with the black helmet is so sweet, and they're actually wearing those for Black Friday. It is sad because you're only going to see these cool uniforms for 3 total games with the black with 1 and the legacy unis for 2. But I'm excited. I'll be there opening night. I probably have already said it before, and I'm probably going to say it in 5 other videos because I'm so damn excited to get over to MetLife and see that game. But it's really going to be a different universe on Monday Night Football. Monday night opener, week 1, obviously, 9/11, Buffalo, Jets. I mean, the Rodgers debut. I can't even speak right now because there's so many damn storylines. And now you got the new unis to add to that. So I am super pumped. I did not get to make it to MetLife last year. I did get to go to Minnesota, Green Bay, Miami. So I was there in attendance for some games, but haven't been to MetLife since 2021. So super, super excited to be there. And I'm very pumped that they will have those legacy uniforms, in which why I had to get a second Rodgers jersey, because it'd be asinine of me not to wear a Rodgers jersey week 1. And I couldn't wear the green. It just didn't feel right. I had to get the throwback. Now I'm in. And I also got a hat. I mean, the Jets got a lot of money. Their Jet shop got a lot of money out of me on Monday. I am a sucker, but I don't give a shit because we are going all in, baby. All in. All in. All right, let's just I just wanted to start the podcast with that. Let's actually talk football now. I'm not really a big fashion guy, but 10 out of 10. Chef's kiss. Training camp begins. So it begun last week. They started putting on the pads yesterday on Tuesday. Today was the second day that they've had pads, and it seems like it's been an up and down route for the offense. But I am not a guy that I have notifications on with all the very great media influences for the Jets, all the reporters. I have so much respect for all of them just because they're terrific at their job, even though, some people just give those guys bad reps, but they're doing their job. I don't give a shit about the stats that they post. Like Aaron Rodgers was 1 for 4 or something like that, and Zach Wilson, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I think this is just them to develop their chemistry. It's not real football. The offensive line clearly always has the disadvantage against the defensive line, and the defense really as a whole has the advantage over the offense almost 9 times out of 10. And it also doesn't help when the defense was a top 4 last year, and the Jets offense has a lot of new pieces coming in, including the quarterback, probably a couple offensive linemen, a couple receivers, everybody. This is a brand new offense, essentially. There's a lot of new faces, and it all starts with number 8, but heck, the story of camp has been not just Aaron Rodgers, but the connection between Aaron Rodgers and his second year potential superstar wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. And Garrett Wilson went viral, that toe tap right in the end zone. I think that was on Sunday. He has made some acrobatic catches. He has made some crazy moves when he's in space. This dude is legit, man. And I'm not going to sit here and say he's Devontae Adams. I don't like comparing players like that. It's just like when there's a good quarterback, he's Patrick Mahomes because he could roll out and throw. Or same thing. He's Aaron Rodgers because he could roll out and throw the, non-scripted play or non-scripted throws, acrobatic throws. Garrett Wilson is Garrett Wilson. And I love that that's kind of what he says when people ask about him. Is he similar? Of course, because he's a great route runner. And when he's in I think he's faster than Devontae when he's in space, but great strong hands. This kid, the sky is the limit for him. And Aaron Rodgers is only going to make him better. This dude almost hit 1,200 yards last year as a rookie. Yeah, 4 touchdowns, pretty low, but that's going to happen when you're in a bottom 5, maybe bottom 3 offense last year with the worst quarterback play that I have ever seen in my life. There was a carousel. Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco, heck, Chris Streveler even threw him a football. You go through all of these guys. How are you supposed to gain chemistry? Not only that, but as a rookie, he's already having to, adjust to so much, adjust to the speed of the game, adjust to the level of talent, adjust to his new teammates. And then he couldn't even adjust to his new quarterback because he had 4 of them, and they kept on switching it, and none of them, let's be honest, were good. So with Aaron Rodgers now, a future Hall of Famer, a guy who's been around the block, a guy who's, grown with receivers, even though people say he doesn't like the young receivers. That's more of a Brady thing because Devontae Adams came in as a rookie in 2014, and now you're at 2016, 2017. He's the best receiver in the league, putting up Madden numbers year in and year out with Aaron Rodgers. So he's been raving about him, and I think this is going to be a special tandem. It's going to really be the vocal point of their offense. And it's going to open up more of just, Garrett Wilson getting 1,400 yards. It's going to help other guys. When you have a presence like Garrett Wilson is now a feared wide receiver because he was the offensive rookie of the year. And now you put along Aaron Rodgers, who in my opinion is still a top 5 quarterback in this league. You could say whatever the hell you want about last year. In my opinion, he's still a top 5 quarterback in this league. He's instantly better. And definitely is going to be even better because you go from year 1 to year 2. Heck, of course, the sophomore slump, it's a thing, but it's not hitting Garrett Wilson. This is a superstar. And I don't remember the last time I could say that about a Jets wide receiver. They had Brandon Marshall, but guys that they have drafted. Elijah Moore, I felt like he was going to be a star. I was wrong. Maybe there still is a chance in Cleveland. That is still unknown, but obviously Denzel Mims was a tease. Stephen Hill, I just puked in my mouth. They haven't really drafted well at receivers until you go way back to Jericho Cotchery. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he might have been an undrafted free agent. I could be wrong about that, but I know he was a Jet. The Jets got him, whether they drafted him or signed him as an undrafted free agent. But there hasn't been too many, but there hasn't even been a guy close to being like, whoa, Garrett Wilson's different, man. You saw it last season. You did. And I was in the Minnesota game, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast. I'm not calling it pod. I'm not one of those guys, even though it's Jet Fuel Pod. I just say that in this description because it's short, but I always say the Jet Fuel Podcast. I just wanted to get that over with. But when I saw him in Minnesota, man, he had over 100 yards. He nearly had that crazy touchdown in which he went through everybody and then somehow started running. He's unbelievable, dude. He is ridiculously good. And it's not just, he has everything. And the route running starts with it all. He's so shifty. It's insane. Right off the ball. You don't know where he's going. He's so shifty. And when he catches it, he's almost too shifty when he runs. But when he makes that move, he's gone. He is a very, very athletic wide receiver. He's very talented. He has all of the tools to just be extremely successful. And I'm just looking forward to what he's going to do with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. And that's after the Minnesota game. Yeah, there was 7-5. My first thing was, dude, Garrett Wilson is an absolute star. Because the game before that, I think he also had 100. He had 2 touchdowns. That's really when he was settling in. And he was basically a lock to win Rookie of the Year after that Minnesota game. So Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, obviously the talk of the town. Quinnen Williams, again, too, being back. He looks great. He's excited. Jermaine Johnson has been a big talk too. And I have my 3 sleeper players and he's not in it because he's been so hyped up and, deservingly so. This is why they go trade back into the first round for a 3rd pick in the 2022 draft to get Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. He could be a potential stud here. And he's been taking mostly all the starting reps along with John Franklin Myers, who did get injured today. I don't know what the news is or the extent of the injury or how serious it is. I'm just blanking in my words right now, but he's been taking all the reps as one of the starting defensive ends. Salah has raved that he looks bigger, but in a great way. He does. He looks stronger. He even looks faster. He's a guy that, has 10 plus sack potential, and they knew that coming in. That's why they go grab him. So that I didn't put him in my list just because I really expect him to really just break out. And I think so many people are predicting it. It's almost becoming mainstream. So I got a few other guys, maybe not too many people are raving about. Obviously, some of these guys won't come as a surprise, but despite the fact that I think, he looks great too. He's been a really main focal point of that. And Breece Hall, hopefully coming back. He's still in the PUP list. I think Randall Cobb is still as well. Mekhi Becton kind of coming in and out. Dwayne Brown has not been to really, he has not played yet, rather, in training camp. Hopefully they get him back soon. There's a lot of competition within the line. It's left tackle, it's center, it's right tackle. The interior with Vera Tucker and Langston Tomlinson pretty much set in stone there. You know what you're going to get. More competition. Safety is another one there. Who's going to be the number 3 receiver starting out? I think it's going to really depend on their formations, rather. You're not going to necessarily have a starting 3rd guy. You know it's going to be Wilson and Lazard, but after that, it's going to be formation-wise. What are they going to run? Is it going to be Harmon out there? Is it going to be Corey Davis out there? Heck, is it going to be Randall Cobb out there? Oh, I also, speaking of the receivers, forgot to bring it up too. Denzel Mims was traded to the Detroit Lions for a conditional 6th round. The Jets send over Mims in the 7th round pick, and I mentioned Mims earlier without even thinking, hey, he got traded. He got his wish. Best of luck to him. That's really all I'm going to say. But Yeah, I think the training camp hype is sometimes too crazy. It just gives you something to look at. I'm gonna, really pay attention and see who's doing well, but I don't care about the stats. I really don't. I'm more of a, an eye test guy. Does he look good? Is he in good shape? Is he fast? Is he catching the ball? Is he throwing the ball well? Is he covering well? Is he creating space as a wide receiver? All of that good stuff. But I want to really talk about my top 3 sleepers because I'm going to get not terribly in depth, but I'm going to take some time of really talking about these guys and why I do think they're going to be sleepers. Number 1 is Tyler Conklin. He is my number 1. It's maybe I'm buying into the hype and I'm being hypocritical. I'm going to be hypocritical now because I literally just said I don't buy too much into, stats and blah, blah, blah. But it seems like Rodgers and Conklin, other than Rodgers and Wilson, that Rodgers and Conklin have had the second best chemistry. And the reason why, it's not just because of, Rodgers has heavily targeted Conklin outside of Wilson during these drills, whether it's 7-7. They don't like 7-7 typically a lot, but the 11-11 drills, the scrimmage drills, all that good stuff. This offense is made for a big tight end and kind of an athletic tight end like Conklin. Conklin was, sneaky good last year. He had some drop issues, but, in terms of tight end ranks, he's in the top 10 there. Like he had a sneaky good season. I don't have the stats right in front of me. I should have been more prepared and had them in front of me, but it's not really about last season. It's more so about, he's already a good player. We know that. He's a decent blocker. He's a big body, and he's pretty athletic, and he's a very good red zone target. And guess what? A guy who had, I think, the most touchdowns as a tight end, I think it was in 2020, Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan excelled in this offense with Hackett in 2020 and 2021. And obviously, 2019 and 2020. Obviously, he had, no, am I right? No, 2020 and 2021. I'm right. 2020 and 2021. Obviously, he had some injury issues after that, but he was such a vocal point to that offense, typically in the red zone. And I think now Conklin has known that this offense loves to target the tight end, not just throughout, your progressions or whatever, but the red zone, they're the main point of that. You want to get it to your big body, and he gets off the snap quick because he is athletic and he could go up there and he's a big ass dude. And I really like Tyler Conklin, and I'm going to pull up his stats now so I could actually talk about it a little more. Yeah, he had 58 catches, 552 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's nothing crazy. It's pretty similar to his year before that. It was 61, 593, 3 touchdowns. So his yardage went down and his catches went down and the touchdowns were the same. So it was pretty similar, but this dude is still kind of hitting his prime. He's still only 27 years old. He's only been in the league for 5 years, being with the Jets for 1. He had a solid season last year and he was one of the more targeted players for the Jets last year, but they hadn't really used the tight ends as much as they should. And they're going to now in this offense. And they have a lot of mouths to feed typically in the tight end room. You got Conklin, you got Uzama, you got Jeremy Ruckert. They have a lot of mouths to feed in that tight end room. So Conklin is a guy that I really, really like. And I think Rodgers already knows that, hey, this guy is going to be my guy. He's going to be my red zone guy. And I love when tight ends become security blankets because that's exactly what I think Rodgers is going to use him as. Rodgers loves to get Rodgers loves to get rid of the ball quickly. That's a thing he does extremely well. That's a thing that Tom Brady did extremely well. And that's probably why these guys played until Brady being 45 and Rodgers being 39 with, hopes of being 40 plus and still playing because they get rid of the ball so quickly. They barely have the chance to get hit. So with a guy like Conklin who can get open and be that security blanket, he's going to eat. And he's definitely my guy to watch in this offense that should be revamped, re-energized, and pretty damn good. My sleeper number 2, I'm going to stay in the offensive side. And I'm not going to say necessarily this is my 1, 2, and 3. I'm just going to continue to talk about offense, is Max Mitchell. Max Mitchell last season was kind of the unsung hero, a 4th round, day 3 draft pick. It was just thrown in the fire because of all of the injuries to that tackle room. Of course, Vera Tucker going down, who was typically playing the tackle position. He was switching all around. They were forced to just throw Max Mitchell in. Robert Saleh a few days ago said, like, he would be lying if he wasn't, losing sleep and being up at late night thinking of how the hell are they just going to throw this kid in. And, with really any preparation, Mitchell was probably the third or fourth string tackle going into the season. And of course, their whole entire tackle room got depleted, and he was thrown in the fire. He performed pretty well on the right side. And of course, until unfortunately he had the diagnosis of blood clot, and thank the Lord that he is okay. He made a full recovery, and he looks good. He's healthy. And I think he's going to build off of it. He's healthy now. He already showed promise as a rookie, and I'm hoping he gets better. And I think he's going to be the starting right tackle. I do. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Mekhi Becton, but I think Max Mitchell will be the starting right tackle. Whether I agree with it or not, and Mekhi Becton kind of getting screwed, I've seen trade rumors now. I don't know. He looks so good. I just want to see what he looks like when he puts in the pads and actually goes 100%. He just looks too good and has worked too hard to see just them trading him. But this is just what I think is going to happen. Max Mitchell is going to get the opportunity to start. He's going to win the starting job at right tackle, and he's going to perform very well and be a staple of that offensive line. They really desperately need that. They need to keep up Aaron Rodgers. As I said, he already gets the ball off quick, but last thing you want to do is have your future Hall of Fame 4-time MVP quarterback getting absolutely smoked, because let's be honest, their offensive line was absolutely terrible, especially in the last 6 games. And yes, the offensive line injury issues had a lot to do with the poor play, but let's be honest, you got to keep Aaron Rodgers upright. You paid so much, not so much, but you put all your cards in. You need to freaking protect this man. And I think Max Mitchell is going to be a key piece of doing that. He's a big body. He definitely can move around. He's a little more athletic than you would think, but he's a big body, and he's typically, I think, even keeled in the pass and the run game. So that's at least what I saw. I haven't done, expert analysis on him, but just watching him on YouTube. I like the way he moves. He's shifty. And I think he will be able to hold his own typically on the right side. I think that's going to help him really develop more. Not that there's not good edge rushers on the right side. There certainly is, but I think he's going to hold his own. And I think he's going to have a good season. And let's just hope his health and, can stay there. But the Jets need somebody to step up in this offensive line, because I think, if any, this is the biggest question mark. You can nitpick the linebacking room, and I don't really care about the linebacking room, because we already know Albrecht doesn't really need 3 linebackers on every single down, because they like to use more corners than normal defenses do. They like to bring out 4 corners and get rid of a linebacker and play 2 linebackers. And typically you saw a lot of Quincy and CJ Mosley, of course, but I don't really care about the linebacker room. I'm good with the linebacker room. Safety room, Amos and Whitehead, I feel like they'll be okay. And Tony Adams, man, I think he is a honorable mention for a sleeper, dude. I think he's going to be, a sneaky good contributor on this defense. I really do. And I'll get into that more, but Tony Adams, I already had the pick in my head, but yet Tony Adams, dude, like he's picking off balls, and I already know that a lot of guys have high hopes for him. So hopefully he can. Chuck Clark had high hopes for him. He said he was going to be a breakout guy before he got hurt, unfortunately. But I just think with the holes here, the offensive line is the biggest concern, and the Jets will desperately need somebody to come in and overperform. And I think Max Mitchell is more than capable of doing that. So watch out for him. He's one of my sleeper guys. And number 3, and again, I said Jermaine Johnson, already. He's a clear cut, of course. He's more of that guy he should be a breakout star. Maybe not star, but a breakout player to develop into a really good one. But Michael Clemens, man, he's the scariest guy on the team. He's like 6'5", 250, but he's a lot more athletic than you think. And I think he's going to play interior and outside. And I think the versatility is what's gonna make him, really break out this season in a small sample size. And they had guys like him, Jermaine Johnson, Bryce Huff, another honorable mention. They had those guys that didn't play a whole lot, but the production that they had every snap was on an insane pace, especially Clemens. And he even had impact on special teams. Every time Clemens was on the field, whether he's blocking kicks or punts on special teams or disrupting the quarterback off the defensive line, typically more on the edge last year. Again, I think he's going to be in the interior. He's a little bigger. Somehow he got bigger. This dude's going to be good. And I don't think he's going to be like Pro Bowl good, but the rotation of this defensive line, by the way, is obviously their strength, maybe outside their quarterback position in the defensive line. Those are their two best attributes at the moment for this team going into the 2023 season. But they like to rotate so much. But I think Clemens is going to get a shot here because he's going to be more versatile, because he's going to get more opportunities, whether it's in the outside and the inside. And again, I'll say it for like the third time, I think he's going to get more reps in the inside. That's why they wanted him to get bigger. And he's going to be so big, but so athletic. It's going to be hard for a guard to really shift their way through and keep him away from the quarterback and keep him away from disrupting anything or blowing up a run. So you're going to have him, Quinnen Williams, JFM, Jermaine Johnson. You got so many guys coming in here. Al Woods, Quentin Johnson, I think that's his name. Both of the guys who came from the Seahawks. So they have a lot of depth here. Bryce Huff, of course. So I think Michael Clemens is a dude who, you can't really relate to the stats last year, but when they drafted him, the film, you just see an athletic freak of nature. Will McDonald as well, defensive line shadow, but you just see the pure athleticism and just the freak of nature vibe that he brings. And he's so cool. He's just so to himself, and he doesn't really give a shit about anything. So that's really my quick breakdown of Michael Clemens. I think a lot of people are expecting high hopes for him. I think he's going to get a lot more time and continue to impress and be a really good role defensive lineman. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter like a guy, like Conklin and Mitchell, who I believe will be starters for the offense. The defensive line is so stacked, but he's going to be a huge contributor, even bigger than last year. Even, I think, more of a contributor than what Bryce Huff was last year. So I'm really excited to see him play. So those are my three sleeper players. And on this lovely Wednesday, July 26th. So let's see how much that changes throughout the year. Let's see if these guys actually have contribution to the team. I think they all will. I'm pretty confident. I'm confident in a lot of other sleepers, but these are my three guys. Rodgers contract update. It's supposedly supposed to get done tonight. Rodgers said it himself in the press conference. Shout out to Rich Cimini, always digging in, trying to get, breaking news mid press conference. Rodgers wasn't budging on what the numbers were, but it hasn't been official yet. So Pro Football Talk tweeted last night, maybe around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern time, that they officially restructured. I see all these Jets accounts tweet, oh, they restructured. There's no numbers. So if there's no numbers, who gives a shit? Like, what are we doing? Mike Florio, not the biggest fan of his. Hey, he's had a great career, better career than mine, but I'm not the biggest fan or really the biggest believer of his breaking news. And speaking of biggest believer in breaking news, that's going to, be a main topic of my next and final topic that I will be discussing on this episode 5 of Jet Fuel Podcast. Again, please follow me midway. We're almost at 30 minutes. So please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Turn Up the Jets. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like this video if you've actually liked it. And if you're still watching, praise the Lord to you, and I appreciate it. But Rodgers has not been it hasn't been restructured yet. Is it going to happen? Yes. Is it going to be done when I make my next video or podcast? Yes. But it hasn't happened yet. But it's going to. We don't know the numbers. Again, I didn't really celebrate it yet or just say, hey, let's go. Sweet. He's still expected to make $2 million this year, 100 and something. I think it was like 107 in 2024. And I already said that he expects to play. I think he's going to play 2 or 3 years. That was kind of really my expectation after he signed. I was a little fidgety in the beginning because I thought he was going to be a one and done. But the fact that he's telling people publicly and Saleh is telling people publicly, I'm pretty confident. And he is woke. You know, he's aware that the Jets gave up some pretty solid assets to get him. But yeah, Florio, whatever. I didn't think it was worth the post on my account. I didn't think it was worth a breaking news video on the YouTube channel. Just Rodgers kind of cleared it up. Yeah, it's going to happen, but you know, nothing's released yet. And I don't know why they even bring it up. Oh, they're going to restructure it. It's official. No, it's not yet. We all know it's going to be restructured. Joe Douglas had said that's for day one. Saleh, Rodgers, you know, all these guys, even going into the, you know, as soon as this trade was made, we knew this was going to get restructured at some point in time. I think now the time is now because the Jets got everything they want. They locked up Quinn and Williams, and now they can, you know, take a deep breath, relax, and get this Rodgers restructuring done, and they're going to be pretty set to go. But to end this off, the Dalvin Cook rumors, and as I mentioned, when people have news like Florio, when they break news, I don't believe in shit. And Craig Carton is the guy who broke this news. So still, I don't believe in shit. However, he did report that the Jets and Dalvin Cook allegedly are having a meeting scheduled in Florham Park on Sunday. He claims that he's going to have more information about the breaking news. I don't buy it right now. He's the same guy who broke that Rodgers tactically told the Patriots to go screw themselves because the Patriots are trying to trade for him to really just block out the Jets. He was the only other guy that I heard that from, and most other, you know, analysts and people that are close to the league and close to owners and all that good stuff. I'd never heard anyone else break that. He was the only person that I've heard break that Rodgers potentially, him and his agent told the Patriots to go screw themselves and they didn't want to get traded to New England or else it would have happened. No. And he's saying now that Dalvin Cook, this could be a little more believable because the Jets, of course, have had, you know, close ties with Dalvin Cook throughout this process since he's been a free agent. I know all that other personal stuff. I'm not going to get into that because I don't know how true any of that is. I'm not even going to really mention. I'm just going to skip over that because I know a lot of people saying they don't want Dalvin Cook now. But of course, you know, that's kind of I like to talk about football here. So with Dalvin Cook, I think there's still a good chance he could be a Jet. And I think his agent and, you know, himself are really interested in being a Jet. And I think he's going to be in the AFC East, whether it's with the Jets or the Patriots or the Bills or the Dolphins. I think one of those four teams, because I think the Bills are now in it more, definitely because they didn't sign Hopkins, and I think they still are hungry for another guy, another body, another playmaker. And James Cook, Dalvin Cook, I mean, of course, that's probably would be their dream to be teammates in the NFL. He's going to be in the AFC. So I do believe that he could potentially have a meeting, but it makes me not want to believe it because nobody else, Rappaport, Schefter, Palisaro, all those guys, they haven't said anything. So take it with a grain of salt. If it does happen, great. You know, you're going to hear me blab about it. I have been saying since Dalvin Cook has been released that the Jets absolutely should be in on him and they absolutely should be aggressive. And with the running back market keep going down, it's only better for the Jets. He wanted 10 to 12 million. Guess what? He's not getting that. He is not. Saquon Barkley just signed a 1-year, $10 million deal. Saquon Barkley is younger. Saquon Barkley is better. So he's not going to get 10 to 12 million. He will not get the same as Barkley, and no shot in hell he's going to get more than Barkley. I think he's going to get 6 to 8 million. And I think the Jets should throw 6 to 8 million at him. They have the fourth most cap space in the league. They've really done a great job of going from one of the bottom teams with cap space to one of the top four because of what they did with restructured contracts. Obviously, now you're waiting on the Rodgers thing, what they did with the Quinn and Williams contract. Joe Douglas have done a hell of a job. And why you open up cap space? You got to spend it. That's the only reason you do it. So why not spend it on Dalvin Cook, a late addition, and give Breece Hall a blow? And of course, you got Michael Carter, Israel Bandakanda, Zonovan Knight. They got heads, but they don't got a guy like Dalvin Cook. You have Cook, and then Breece Hall comes back 100%. Watch out, man. watch out. This offense again. This is why I was high on Conklin, because of the offense and what they're going to run and what Rodgers has done in the past and what Hack has done in the past. What have they done in the past? They played two running backs, whether it was Aaron Jones and why can I think of him? Aaron Jones and Williams and AJ Dillon, all those guys, there was always a tandem. So why not have two stud running backs? Why not? Right? I think it would be a great running back tandem, probably one of the best in the league. Dalvin Cook can catch. He obviously in space is very hard to get down and catch as well. I didn't really mean to say catch twice. He's not the greatest blocker, but this is a guy you absolutely should add. So I hope Greg Carton is right for once, that the Jets are, setting up a visit. I don't think no team has publicly set up a visit with Cook. So if you get him in, I know it's a cliche, don't let him leave the building, but seriously, don't let him leave the building. But I guess we'll have to see. That's going to wrap it up here for episode 5 of the Jet Fuel podcast. As always, Joe Skirdo, your host, aka Turn Up the Jets. For the third time of the video, please subscribe to the channel if you actually want to, like the video if you actually liked it, and then give me follow at Turn Up the Jets on Instagram and Twitter, all one word. We're going to have plenty of things to talk about. The NFL season, baby. 7 more weeks until 7 hours of commercial-free football and Monday Night Football. The Jets, Bills, let's go. I'm so pumped. Hey, we'll see you next time, though. I know I'm a crazy person here.
Jets, I hear them say it now.
Jets, white, green, just green and white. Tell me, have you ever seen a team take flight?